As a past analyst at Forrester Research, I have attended many tech conferences over the last decade. I've been wowed and impressed by stories from Netflix, Uber, and Tesla, how they're using technology to transform their operating models. But at Christmas this year, I was spending time with my two daughters, Anna, who's 5 years old, and Heidi, who's coming up to 3. And I was watching them play on my iPad. I was amazed at how different their childhood was to mine. And this got me thinking about the way technology has changed my life, has changed my world. And I started to see some dramatic changes, but not in the last 10 years, actually in the last 5 years. So let me take you back to the 26th of June, 2013. And let's have a look at some of the technology in play, what I used to use back then. So in the morning, I was woken up by my very traditional alarm clock. I think we can all agree there was nothing smart from a technology perspective here. Well, it did tell me the temperature of my room. Secondly, on my way to Forrester's London office, I'd always stop to pick up a coffee from my local Starbucks. And I'd be greeted by a scene like this, a queue. And the only smart aspect from a technology perspective was the touchscreen tills that were being used. Now, as part of my job back then, I had to travel around the world. I had to travel around Europe and also the US, attending various technology conferences. And I had to exchange my money into different currencies. And it seems crazy now. But back then, in order to do that, I would go online, I would search for the best rate, I would order that currency, then actually go down to a shop to pick it up. It used to take me upwards of an hour out of my day. And in the evenings, I was an avid runner, and I still am today. I remember buying a great little device then called a Nike Plus sensor. And this small little device would fit into the sole of your trainers. And this meant that when I went for a run, I could track the number of steps I was making on a run. It was great. But after around about 5 miles, it did become slightly inaccurate. But let's fast forward to present day, to 2018. Let's have a look at the technology in play in my world today. So instead of my traditional alarm clock, well, I replaced it with something much better, a Witty Betty. I know, it's a great product name, isn't it? And Witty Betty is much more than an alarm clock. In fact, it's my bedroom concierge. It syncs seamlessly with my iPhone. It tells me about activities that are occurring in my local area. It tells me about traffic problems on my way to work. And it wakes me up with light that resembles natural daylight. And that queue for a coffee, well, that queue for a coffee is no more. Because I now use Starbucks Prepay Ahead mobile app, which lets me prepay for my coffee, tell them what time I'm going to pick it up, so I can walk into the shop and pick it up from the end of the till. Because no one in 2018 has time to queue for coffee, do they? And when it comes to exchanging money, well, I now do that in a matter of seconds. I found a great little company called Revolut, and they've got a really good mobile app in which you can exchange your money into different currencies at the swipe of a finger at the best possible rate. And in the evenings, well, I still do a lot of running, but I've replaced my Nike Plus sensor with a Garmin 5S Fenix smartwatch, an incredibly accurate piece of technology that tracks my runs via GPS. It also gamifies my runs. So far this year, I've knocked off 2 minutes from my 10K times. So look, technology really has changed my world. It's changed my life. And I bet if you take a couple of moments just to think about how technology has changed your life in the last 5 years, you'll see some of these dramatic changes also. But there's a key message here. And this key message is that tech innovation in our world today is happening faster and faster. And this reflection that I had at Christmas got me thinking a little bit more deeply about the world in which my children are going to grow up into. And I started to do some research. And I was wondering how technology will change their world by the time they're my age. You see, by the time of 2050, Anna will be 37 years old and Heidi will be 34 years old. And so I found a great website called futuretimeline.net. in which academics, futurologists, and also technologists make predictions to the way technology is going to change our world. So let's go on a journey to 2050 and let's explore some of these predictions. And the first year we're going to stop on is the year 2025. Because in the year 2025, it is predicted that smartphones, as we know them in their current form factor, will become obsolete. Just think about that. We've only had the modern smartphone for a decade, but who here in the audience has the latest Apple Watch? Any show of hands? A couple of people. So the latest Apple Watch has cellular connectivity, so the seeds of change are already starting to happen. But what experts are predicting is that by the year 2025, we'll have smart contact lenses and earpieces that let us seamlessly make calls and browse applications. If you want another prediction in relation to this, by the year 2027, it is predicted we'll be able to text by thinking. And this is not a far-fetched prediction because they're already trialing out this technology in Silicon Valley. And I don't know about you, but for me, that prediction is pretty scary. It could get me into a whole world of trouble. I don't like that. So let's move on from the 2020s to the 2030s, because the 2030s promises a decade of dramatic technology change, a period in which Industry 4.0 really starts to take hold. Now, does anybody know who this person is up on the screen? Any show of hands? One person, thank you, Faraz. You've seen this before. Thank you. So this person is Lil Miquela. She has over 1 million followers on Instagram. And last year, she released her first pop single. But guess what? She's not real. She's a piece of artificial intelligence, a piece of software, a piece of robot automation. And why is this significant? Well, this is significant because the BBC are predicting that robot automation will take 800 million jobs by the year 2030. And you may be thinking, well, what will happen to people's jobs? Well, LinkedIn is predicting that a whole host of new job roles will be created. Things like nanomedic, body part maker. In fact, advances in 3D printing will mean that we'll be able to print body parts efficiently and also easily by this decade. And data. Well, data will become so prevalent in every single enterprise that there'll be specific job roles focused on the handling of data waste. So dramatic changes as we go through the 2030s. But let's move on 15 years to the year 2045. Now, does anybody know who this person is? A couple, yeah, thank you. You've all seen the keynote before. You can't really contribute. So this person is Ray Kurzweil. He's one of Google's lead technologists. He's also an avid futurologist, and he's got a high accuracy rate when it comes to making predictions. His accuracy rate is 86%. And what he's predicting is that by the year 2045, we'll hit the point of singularity. And this is the point in which machines become smarter than humans. Let me say that again. Machines become smarter than humans. And all of this will happen by the time my two daughters, Anna and Heidi, are about to turn 30 years old. But let's stop on our final stop on the predictions tour. And this is the year 2050, because the famous David Bowie once said, "Is there life on Mars?" Well, by the year 2050 there will be, because advances in space travel will mean that we'll be able to easily travel to the red planet. And this is already starting to happen with technology from SpaceX and what they're doing there. Now, just think about that for a moment. No longer will you need to go on holiday to the south of France, to Spain, to Florida. You'll be able to go on holiday to the planet Mars. Because it's also predicted that there'll be a space base up on this planet. Now, this is incredible. You know, this is all going to happen by the time Anna and Heidi are my age. They may be doing a presentation like this up on the stage. Absolutely incredible. These predictions are interesting. They're exciting. I think you'll all agree that some of them are pretty scary. But there's a key message here. And this key message is no matter whether you work in retail, in financial services, in the automotive, in the manufacturing, or the entertainment industries, you're all technologists. You all have a responsibility to ensure that technology drives positive change in our world today. That technology drives positive change for your business, for your industry, for your families, for your society, and also for your careers. And that's why AppDynamics is making a call on all of you today to become agents of transformation, to become innovators who drive positive technology change in their organizations. And that's the way we view all of our customers. They're all innovators. And you're going to hear from a whole wide variety of agents of transformation through the course of today. Pretty shortly, I'm going to welcome on stage Andy Sturrock from BP, who's an agent of transformation focused on transforming BP, focusing on 5 pillars to transformation. Later on, you'll hear from Just Eat, from Rich Hay and Benny Johnson, how they're redefining their operating models using DevOps and site reliability engineering. You'll also hear from Simon Ratcliffe from Ensono, talking about how to drive positive culture, how to drive a culture of innovation within IT and within the enterprise. At the end of the day, we've got a great closing panel focusing on tales of transformation. Stories from BP, Just Eat, and also Lloyds Banking Group about the transformation going on in their business and how they're becoming agents of transformation. So we've got an exciting day planned for you. But before we go into that, what does it take to become an agent of transformation? Well, there's a number of key high-level characteristics. Firstly, you must be able to take an outside-in approach. It's no longer good enough in today's world just to keep the lights on when it comes to technology. You need to focus on what's important, user experience and driving outcomes. Secondly, you must be comfortable being a leader, capable of inspiring those around you to break the status quo, to think about problems and opportunities that technology poses in different ways. And you must be comfortable with driving innovation without fear, being fearless in your pursuit of driving further technology innovation. And bringing this all together is this key concept of real-time intelligence. Real-time information at your moment of need to take the next correct action, to make the correct next decision. Because with the way technology is changing our world today, you can't just act on gut feel alone. So how does AppDynamics fit into all of this? Well, as you may all know, AppDynamics has been a leader in the application and performance monitoring market for the last 6 years, as rated by Gartner. But when Jyoti Bansal and Bhaskar Sankara first founded AppDynamics, their vision was much grander than APM. It was of real-time application and business intelligence. Real-time information in the most complex of environments, with the most complex applications to help drive that next decision, to help take and help our customers take that next action. And you're going to hear more about this concept of real-time intelligence throughout the course of today. But for those of you who are new to AppDynamics, it makes sense for me to explain how we do this from a top level. And we base our development on 3 core principles. Firstly, we enable you to move fast. Right from the outset, we were disruptors in the APM industry. We didn't just focus on monitoring the components of an application, but what we did, which is unique, and is still unique today, is that we monitor all those interactions which are key to user experience and also to business outcomes. And we bring this data together into our consistent unit of measurement called a business transaction. So if you take, for example, a simple e-commerce app, these are business transactions such as login, search products, add to cart, and also checkout. And what this means is that no matter who looks at the AppDynamics console, they have information and context of what's important, in context of the business, so they can make decisions faster. Secondly, we enable you to follow everything. Right from the first release of our product, our vision has always been about one platform, one UI for unified application and business performance monitoring. Monitoring all the way from the end user experience, through to the application, down to the code, and through to the supporting infrastructure, which today includes the network. And this is important. And it's important because it can be that slightest bit of data that you miss, which can have the most dramatic impact on your business. And then thirdly, we help you focus on what matters the most. Something that we're incredibly proud of at AppDynamics is our development of Business IQ over the last couple of years. The ability to seamlessly and easily, in real time, analyze and correlate user data with application performance data and also business data. We enable you to bring this all together to deliver real-time information. Real-time intelligence at your point of need to take the next action, to make the correct next decision. So that's a little bit about what we do.